Hey there RC enthusiasts, it's David from Run It RC. Today I have for you a maintenance video, and I'll be performing this on an MN Model D90 with a WPL C24 chassis on it. So what you're going to need today is, for sure, you're going to need some grease. I like to use this waterproof green grease. You can get this at your local parts store. They're pretty affordable and a little goes a long way. I've had this bottle for about 2 years now, and it's just about to be empty soon and needs to be replacing. So yes, let's get into this maintenance. Okay, so first you gotta pull this off. It's just gonna be a screw in the back, and you're gonna have 4 screws up here. Mine already missing, as you can tell. So you're gonna get that 1 screw in the back and 4 screws up there. Yes, I know mine's modified and this is not how it looks like when it comes in. The bottom of the actual MD model is that chassis right there. But they're all pretty similar, so they'll all work the same way, they'll all come apart the same way. You shouldn't have any issues following this directions. So once you get all those 4 screws off, go ahead and take this body off. Now depending on if you have a kit or if you have an RTR, be careful with your headlight wires, because I don't know how the RTR ones are wired up, but mine I have it plugged so I can unplug it from my ESC and set it aside. But if yours has a plug up there, you might have to get into here. You might have to get into here, and you might have to go ahead and unplug it from your receiver. So either way, just get the body off of the frame. It'll make life a little easier. There goes some batteries charged. Now that you got your body off, you can access these 2 screws. It'll be that one up there and that one down there. Alright, now that I got those 2 screws off, I can pull this whole motor box assembly out. You can unplug it from the ESC if that's how it is on the RTR. I'm not sure, but if not, then you might have to work with it attached the whole time. But if it does come off, you're just going to go ahead and you're going to take off those 3 screws that you can see right there. Those 3 silver screws. Pull those off. And be careful, because once you take that off, you can split the case in half and you might have gears fly around everywhere. So I'll go ahead and pull that off real quick. Alright, now that I got that off, you're going to slowly open this case. To reveal your motors. And you see one of the shafts actually stuck up there and just fell right now. Yeah, those are the kind of things you're going to deal with, so just be careful taking it apart. Make sure you take a look in there, see how everything goes together before you start moving stuff, if stuff starts moving. So yeah, pretty much we just opened this gearbox to inspect it. You know, this is more of a maintenance after you run through mud and water and, you know, more extreme conditions. So I always like to check my stuff after I run it through that stuff, just to make sure nothing has made it into these parts. Looks clean in there and everything, but a little dry on lube, so I'm going to go ahead and put some of that marine grease in there, and I'll get back to you guys. Okay, so now that I got some marine grease in there, as you can tell, I kind of globbed it in there, and I put a lot towards this section right here, because that's where that top gear is going to drop into, so that can get greased too, so I didn't have to go up in there and grease it, you know. So once you got all the pins and everything all lined up in there and everything's all good to go, just line up the case and we're going to close it. And there you go. Case is closed. Put your 3 screws back in there and you're done with that. And this is the stock gearbox for the kit version of the MN Model D90. So if you did notice in there, they were the 3 gears. So I would say that it's the old style WPL gearbox. If you do have a WPL and you're working on a WPL, you're going to probably see 4 gears in there. I think it's 4, maybe 4 or 5 gears in there. This has a better reduction in that gearbox, and that's the newer updated gearbox from WPL. So this one doesn't work too bad. It's a little fast, but not too bad for what what I'm trying to do with this. It's okay. So yeah, now that you got that all lubed up, inspected, made sure everything's nice and free in there, go ahead and grab some of your lube and lube up these joints. Just a little dab here, nothing too crazy. You're not even gonna really press it hard or anything. Like, seriously, that's enough right there. See, and then that's actually a little too much. See that right there? That's too much. So you want less than that on there. But yeah, so I go ahead and put a little bit of lubricant on those joints just to make them last a little longer. See if they will, at least. Now the gearbox feels smooth. Everything feels good in there. We'll move on to the next. So the next thing on our list is to inspect our diffs. You have 4 screws right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just pop those off. I'll go ahead and do that. Alright, so I got those screws off, and just by simply pulling one way or the other on this will get me to open that up. And then you just go ahead and inspect this gear. Take a look at that. So you can see water's definitely got in there because of the color of the grease. But gear looks good, grease still looks alright. Now we're gonna check the ring gear. All you gotta do is just spin the tires and check the teeth of the ring gear, make sure it's not missing any teeth, nothing looks warped in there, it's not chipping away at anything. The mesh looks good. See if I can get it even closer. So yeah, it looks like it's been meshing good in there, and that's still the stock factory plastic gear from MN model. I mean from WPL, sorry. So yeah, everything looks good in there. I do recommend to split the axles if you do have ball bearings installed in here from the metal upgrade, but if you're still running the stock plastic bushings in here, I think they'll be okay. So once you check in here, lube looks decent enough. If you want to add more, go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Then I'm going to close that back up and do the same for the rear. Alright, now to this part. This is going to be for your steering hubs. You see in there that white piece of plastic where your axles mount to? Well, if that's all muddy and stuff, I recommend go ahead and disassemble this area, clean it out, and then re-grease inside and put it together. But if it still looks like this, pretty decent shape, I just go ahead and after a couple runs, I just shoot spray a little bit onto those joints just to make sure it wicks some water and moisture out of there and help everything move a lot freer. And also, don't forget, you did it to the other ones. Now it's time to do it to this part. Spray that and spray this. I've already done it, so you don't see me actually spraying, but yeah, so that's pretty much all I do. As for maintenance, to check everything, make sure everything looks good. Now obviously if you do have an RTR version of this truck, I'm not sure if the electronics are waterproof in those, so I wouldn't even take those in water really. You're looking at a kit version here which has a waterproof receiver, waterproof ESC, and brush motors are normally in general waterproof, so yeah. And the steering servo on this one is the factory steering servo. It is just coated in plasti dip to waterproof it. So now we can go ahead and slap our motor and gearbox assembly back in there while aligning the drive shafts. See if I can show you while doing it at the same time. I'm just gonna have to spin the axle on the tires just to get it to match up on the spines. And there you go. Now to button it back up with the 2 screws over here. Okay, and when that's done, all you gotta do is button up all your electronics where you want them to be, which I'm not gonna do on camera for you guys right here. Don't forget to plug your motor back in. And all you gotta do is put your body back on it. Screw all those 4 screws down the front and that 1 screw in the back on, and you're done. And if you're a WPL person, don't forget, put a dab of lube on your shaft, shock shaft right here. It'll go ahead and help free things up, and hopefully you get some lubing up in there to lube up the spring so it doesn't get rusty if you run in water a lot. So yes, those are the things I recommend if you run this thing in mud and water a lot. Even if just for regular maintenance, once in a while go ahead and do those just to keep it running good and smooth. And if you do own, a 10th scale, more hobby grade truck and stuff, there are more things you're gonna have to do to get your maintenance done, like your shock oil replacements, your diff oils, slipper clutch adjustments. There's a lot more things to modify, but this instructional video is just for these little 1/16 little toy hobby grade, or toy/hobby grade RCs. So just to keep them running a little longer and have more fun with them. And so yeah, hopefully that gives you more life out of your little WPL and MN model trucks. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and go run that RC.